Such a beautiful day. A bit of a breeze. I think we're all thankful for the bit of the breeze. Some clouds. Maybe a bit of a break from the heat every once in a while. So I did a wee video there, very ad hoc. All my videos are ad hoc. Just about July, and do you know what? It was really lovely to have people drop into my inbox and have little conversations with 3 or 4 people just about the month, and even in person we were meeting people. You know, it's so important to share, you know, what's going on, to let other people know that they're not alone, because we are so kind of isolated now as well. We're not meeting like we used to have a good old chat, and a lot of us are coming away from friends groups that we've had for a very long time, which has been happening to me for 20 years, but you know, and so a lot of the like-minded people, the people that think like us, aren't generally in our lives every day to be able to have a chat with. So it's been really nice to speak to people and to be able to let people know that these changes are affecting everybody and it's not just them and they're not alone. I was watching something there last night or the night before, and someone likened this month to the Six of Swords. I'll put a link to the picture of the Six of Swords in the tarot card in the story or underneath for anyone that's not familiar with it. And as soon as I seen that image, I just thought it brought so much together of literally how I have felt and how this month has been, literally since like the beginning of the month, the first second. You know, people are talking about CERN and the Mandela effect and skipping timelines, and you know, whether it's the cornucopia back on the Fruit of the Loom or Britney's microphone being back or gone, you know, so there's a lot of the distraction out there, and you know, there is a lot to be said about what's going on with regards to CERN as well, and I definitely felt the shift. But from the Six of Swords, you know, that card shows a woman in a boat with a child, and she's leaving the shore. There's a boatman there and she doesn't really know where she's going. She's left everything behind, and it's that trust that she's heading towards calmer waters on the other side. Now, I have seen this with myself, with other people, and it's not just about relationships. You know, people think she's leaving a relationship. It's not about relationships. Obviously, there are a lot of relationships breaking up, whether it's siblings, love relationships, work relationships, colleagues, the whole toxicity within the spiritual community. You know, the fractures within the spiritual community are so apparent now. But this Six of Swords and this taking the trust, you know, a lot of people liken it also to that part in, and it's an analogy that's used a lot, you know, stepping onto the bridge in Indiana Jones, and he doesn't know there's anything there. He can't see anything in front of him and he has to put his foot out, and the bridge, you know, comes. And that Six of Swords is that kind of, for me, it's stepping into the darkness, really. It's stepping into the cave, and that's where I go. I at these pivotal moments, you're stepping into a dark cave that you don't really know, back into the womb almost, to be rebirthed. And when you step back into that darkness, you can't see the floor, you can't see the wall, you can't see it, but your eyes adjust to the light. Soon you get to see that there's hidden gems in the walls, or there's beautiful writing on the walls. You know, eventually after spending some time there, you can see the light, and you realise that you're in a cave, you know, that you can work towards the light and get yourself out of there. But in order to level up, in order to enter the womb, to enter the cave, like computer games, right? I'm going to liken it to a computer game. I never really played computer games. My sister was a computer geek in our house. I played Super Mario on a Game Boy. So you know, you get to the end of a level and there's a big boss guy and you have to fight this big boss guy, you know, and on your quest you have gathered potions, lotions, whatever you've done, knives, swords, everything. But in order to level up, to get to that next level, you have to fight that guy, you have to fight that demon, you have to fight that monster. And for ourselves, at this moment in time and in history, what I see is happening to a lot of people is that they're not surrendering to the darkness. They're not surrendering to the monster. They're not going in to fight the monster. They think they can bypass the monster. They think they can be clever and use some of the tools to not have to go there. But there's pivotal moments in our lives when we just literally have to fall to the ground. We literally have to be allowed to be brought to our knees in a pile of snot and tears in order to be rebuilt. And I remember the first time that ever happened to me in Galway a long time ago. Was it 25 when I lived there? And I won't go into the ins and outs of it, but the pivotal moment, and this, it was mad that, you know, I was making soup in a microwave. Probably haven't even used a microwave in 20 years. So there was tomato soup. I'll never forget it. And I haven't eaten tomato soup since. And I was wearing an Erin cardigan and things weren't good in my life. I was freezing cold. I was in between houses, staying in a house that wasn't occupied by students over the winter. My cousin will know what I'm talking about. And it was that in between stage between Christmas and New Year, and I was by myself. You know, you should be with your family at these times or whatever. A bit of the soup went and up onto my cuff of my cardigan, and I just fell to the ground. I fell to the ground and I cried and I cried and I cried. I don't know for how long, in a pool of just snot and tears, and I cried for everything that I hadn't allowed myself to cry for a long time before. All the suicides, the deaths, the trauma, everything. And when I stood up after that, I felt different. And I knew a part of me was stronger and that I would never slip that far again. So by allowing yourself to go there, you build a foundation so that the next time you fall down, you don't fall down as so deep. And then the next time you allow yourself to surrender and fight the next level boss, the same thing happens. And this is how we level up. And this is how resilience, spiritual resilience, has got to be built this way. I have been through hell and back the last 3 years. I won't talk about it here. I'm not looking for validation or kind of, you know, and it's not the right time to share for me. I will maybe in the future. But people have often asked, you know, God, Keelan, you know, expecting me to fall to rock bottom and everything. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been brought to my knees many, many times over the last few years. But because I have that resilience, because I have fought the demons on every single level to level up, I haven't bypassed, I haven't talked my way out of it, I haven't, you know, medicated my way out of it, I haven't drank my way out of it, I haven't shopped my way out of it. I have sat with it and done it, and it's really tough. Now when I sink, and every time I fall down, I don't never fall down as deep, and you level up in your resilience, you build spiritual resilience. And that's why so many now in the spiritual community have signs of spiritual psychosis, because they went in and they're doing this work, they're opening their pineal gland, they're doing all this, going away off to Peru, doing ayahuasca once and calling themselves shamans, without any foundation, without building a foundation. It takes a long time to build foundations. So what I'm saying is, allow yourself, if needs be, allow yourself to fall, allow yourself to crash, allow yourself that time to fight the demons. You know, whether you need to take time away from the kids, take time away from work, you know, and whatever you're walking away from, whatever your Six of Swords is. Maybe your Six of Swords is the bottle of wine that you don't want to have every night. Maybe it's the excess shopping that you're doing and your bank balance is really kind of seeing it. Maybe it is a relationship, maybe it's work. You know, whatever your Six of Swords is, an old mindset, you know, putting yourself down, thinking you're not good enough to level up to that next level, that everything that's happened to you, sure, it's always happened to me. That's just the way my life is, it'll keep happening. That's not the way it works. Your life should be, you know, we all have to deal with trauma, we all have to deal with the bad stuff. But as you go along and you build resilience, your life should become as beautiful as it is tough, it is hard. You should be able to go out and see flowers and see butterflies and see a sky and see the world around you and notice the beauty and see the beauty. So that when the storms come, when the monster comes, and when it's time to level up and you need to fight, you know that you'll be able to get through this, and you know that entering that cave, isn't a sentence to death. It is an ego death. We go through many of them, but it is a necessary part of the journey. So whatever your Six of Swords moment is, allow it to come. When I know I need some space, I'll pick a day, I'll pick a time, and I'll go and I'll set up almost like a little ritual. Things to provoke the tears to come, things that'll help me to get out what I need to get out. If it's rage, if it's a good cry, whatever these things are. I'll talk about rage rituals and things like that again at another time. So what I'm saying to you is that surrender. And Leo is this Leo month, and if you've Leo placements, you are a Leo, or whatever, we all have it in our chart. This is going to be a month of surrender. The nodes are moving and stuff. I'm not an astrologer, I just, I'm a keen watcher, and that's about it. But I feel the energies very, very subtly, and the more work you do, the more sensitive you do become to it. So whatever your Six of Swords is, know that without the wine, without the person, without the job, the security, whatever's calling you, trust that when you leave it behind, you'll be stepping into something new and more beautiful. So have an absolutely beautiful day. Have a beautiful weekend. And start to train your eyes. Start to train your heart into noticing beauty again. And eventually you'll see the beauty in yourself and realise that there is no separation, that you are this beautiful lock. You are the beautiful flowers. You are the beautiful sky. Have a lovely rest of the week.